What's up, everybody? It's been quite a while. It's the 15th of January today. Holy cow. I don't have my dual screens. I don't have anything set up here for the past couple days. I have been working from home as opposed to working from my mother-in-law's home, which has my whole setup. So I might go over there later, but I've just been working on some websites, been working on some new business, had a couple of new clients come in for new services. So it's been a great morning so far. It's been a great couple of days. Got a bunch of new services in. We're almost near doubling the business. And I've just been so dang busy that I haven't really felt comfortable coming and doing these videos for whatever the reason. I don't know. It just felt like I was just more focused on the business and less focused on the content side of things. But then I realized that that is the whole point of this, is to push myself into the uncomfortable zone, if you will. So we are here. We're trying to grind out. We're trying to figure it out. I've got meetings tomorrow. I've got a couple more meetings today. These two right here at the end of the day. And so right now we are just working on fixing up this website. The client wanted to change around some things as well as get started on a new service. So we should be all done. I'm just going to push that and kind of take it from here. Publish. Changes have been made and published. Okay. I'm going to try and log into this account for one of my clients. We're trying to get rid of their old account. Let's see. There we go. Oh, cool. We're in. Look at that. Let's see here. Good timing. What's going on? Joe, Joseph, how do you like to be called? All right, Joe, perfect. What's going on, Joe? Oh, it's fine, man. I know how life guy. Trust me, I'm doing my own little thing too now. So yeah, it's just that's the exact. I guess that was a broad comment. I guess, right? Just do life. You know, I got 5-year-old twins. I got the wife. I got just started up running a business and jujitsu, and you know how life is. I don't know enough about you and your story, but that's kind of why we're talking right now. Woo! 5? Holy cow! That's nuts. I don't really think I could. I don't really think I could manage all that. I got my twin 5-year-old. That's all I got. That's all I'm managing. We're not having any more. Well, right. That was it. My wife only ever wanted two, I think, and so she was happy with it, and so, you know, and again, we had no, for it was perfect. We got it done, one and done. At the same time, through diapers the same time, through these toys the same time. I always say that it's easier. Twins are actually easier, right? People are like, oh, it must be so hard. It's like, I don't know any different. Yeah, but here's the other thing, Joe. I don't know the difference. Like I would never know what it's like to just have one kid. you know, so I think anybody that does it like you, like you consciously made that decision for at least 3-4 times to go through it. Yeah, there you go. Oh, it is what it is, right? Good stuff. Oh, that's fine, man. I mean, look, you have the audience and you have that podcast. So what am I going to do? Just
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've really been excited about podcasts. I started it probably about a year ago now.
yeah.
I started jujitsu late in life. I was 42. Yeah, so probably 43 when I
Yep.
started, and which is actually more common than I realized at the beginning. I thought like, oh my God, I'm the only old guy there, and that's just not the case at all. Um, and like most people, I kind of fell into it. Like my son, one of my sons was doing it. He
Okay.
wanted to play soccer, but it was at the time at this jiu-jitsu academy called Iron Wolf down where I lived in Georgia, which is kind of a smaller town in Georgia.
Yep.
And he wanted to play soccer, and I really liked the owner. He did contracts, and I didn't want to stick him with a contract. And, I wanted to, I didn't want to kind of back out of contract. I wanted to, continue, or at least give him the year. And I didn't want to just pay and nothing go on. And I was like, you know what? I'll try a class. I tried a class, tried my second class, tried my third class. Like, you know what? I'm hooked. I'm going to go write out this contract for the next one too. So,
Nice.
uh, just jumping in, I guess, a little bit to my journey and how we got into podcasting was I remember my first class there at Iron Wolf, and it was, and I think I knew nothing. My very first time on the mat. The class was, uh, it was like this modified single X sweep transition to the back. It was so insane,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like talk about advanced stuff that I know now, or that I know that's what it was now.
Right. Right.
But man, like for so long in my early part of my journey, I didn't know what I didn't know, and then I got a new job and I started working in the city in Atlanta,
Yep.
and I knew I had to find another place to train, so I found Alliance, and then when I went to Alliance, again, kind of that first time of stepping on Alliance mat, it really it really changed a lot of my experience in jiu-jitsu because I was getting really good foundational jiu-jitsu. Like I wasn't even ripping around. I didn't even know how to do a folding pass. I'm like 6 months, almost a year into training,
Okay.
right? Like I had two strikes with my white belt and didn't know how to do a folding pass,
Wow.
right? Or how I like really how to effectively open a closed guard. And nothing wrong with the place I was training. It's not me. It's just I started, having conversations with some other white belts that had maybe trained at other places, or even that had began to train there at Alliance, and just the overwhelming feelings that they had, like not knowing stuff and not knowing where to go to get, like what are your jab etiquette and what are things I need to know? What do we mean by fundamental jujitsu moves? Um, just real foundational stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a podcast. There's a lot of jiu-jitsu podcasts out there. I get it. You got the My White Belt, you got ISW Jiu-Jitsu, of course, you got the Ryan Ford over at BJJ Fanatics. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to start this podcast focusing on audiences that are in kind of
Nice.
like the 1 to 5 years and trying to just get, guests on, higher level belts, also white belts, talking about their challenges and having all these open discussions. And what I didn't realize is, I'm thinking there's all these other jiu-jitsu podcasts. It's just a response, man. It was overwhelming over the past year.
Yeah.
I get emails. I mean, I think we've had over, I think we're getting close to 3,000 downloads now
Really.
globally. I think oh yeah, man. And we've got a pretty big following over in Europe even. So
Europe's a big spot for sure. It's expanded. It's expanding out, right? And if you think about it, Joe, it makes sense, right? I mean, it's from Japan across the water over to America and adopted by Brazil. Brazil then brings it back up to America. And now we're gonna go across the water, right?
yeah,
And that's really been a big shift for sure.
yeah. And I've been, I'm one of those that definitely drinks the Kool-Aid. I train at PW's My
Nice.
as from all this. But yeah, it's just been a real positive thing. And this year, um, staying with the core of the focus of, what I want the podcast to be. I'm doing all of these different type series, based off what the guests, kind of brings to the table and their experiences and things they want to talk about, kind of put it in that, um, those buckets, if you will. So,
Yep.
um, super excited to get your message and your reach out. Um, I just would love to learn a little bit more about you and
Yeah.
what you're thinking about, like as far as podcasts and episodes, and just get to know you a little bit, man.
Yeah, man.
I have
No.
about, I probably, I know I'm kind of cold calling here. I have probably about 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
That's okay. I got as much time as you need, more or less. I run my own business now. I started literally back in November 11/11. I just said F it, betting on myself. I do, websites and SEO and sort of like the online stuff. Kind of prepping for the future of AI. Like what I really want to do is like learn those. I want to learn those tools and then more or less arbitrage the knowledge that I've learned and the time that I spend learning this stuff to give to other businesses and say, okay, hey, here's how I can manage this, right? And do it for you, right? That's kind of the idea, and that's really any business when you think about it. It's taking one skill set that Jiu-jitsu is the same thing, right? You pay somebody else to give them your skill set because you don't know it, and and so I've been in sales pretty much my whole life, healthcare, construction, whatever, just selling basically. And so I was like, all right, well, let me try this other thing. Now, backstory to all of that is that I'm able to do this because I'm in Brazil right now, and it's very inexpensive to live. Um, and so my wife's Brazilian, spending time down here. She's got some health issues with her back, so that she's getting that taken care of. You're in Atlanta, I'm in Massachusetts. It doesn't matter. Daycare is expensive in the country, no matter where you go. Uh, so I said, you know what? I've got my mother-in-law. Let's have her help out. She can watch the kids while I do this thing called entrepreneurship, and let's see where the chips fall where they may, right? And so far, so good. I mean, busy. I'd like to be busier, as anybody is. I don't think I can handle being any busier, but it doesn't mean I don't want to be. Um, and that's just me learning, right? It's me learning the intricacies of business as a whole. But the underlying theme to all of it is I've been doing jiu-jitsu since I was in college. And so that's been like the consistent theme. I was an athlete growing up, football, hockey, lacrosse, baseball, basketball, you name it. I played, that was my background, athlete, if you will. Not any good enough to be like professional, or like a D1 college or anything like that, but sports, right? Health, athleticism. Got one of my best friends did this thing called jiu-jitsu in college, and he's like, you should. I met him lifting at the gym, and he's like, come by. At the time, I think he's a black belt. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure he is, but he had effectively. We were rolling on the cement floors. You know how they have that like cement carpet? They just like roll it over cement. And that's where the journey started. He kicked my ass with vivid, just like you, right? You remember that one thing? He had a grilled chicken quesadilla in one hand, and choked me out with the other one, right? And so here I am, this 18-year-old full of what, thinking I'm hot stuff because I'm in shape, and just manhandled. And I'm not your traditional stay in one school for a very long period of time type of guy, whether that's work or life or whatever. I like to train in different places. I saw some inconsistencies in my game, and my game's not really, I don't really consider my game anything, right? But if you travel and you go to train in this place for a year, and you'll learn a lot of things from the team, from your teammates, right? And then you go to another school and you learn their games, and along the way I added things and subtracted things and continue to, just got my black belt last month, and yeah, and so it's one of those situations where it doesn't mean anything, like the black belt doesn't mean anything once you're past a certain point. You're like, this is me, this is who I am. The belt is just a representation of my abilities. It's not a representation of anybody else's. And so it's something that I'll continue to do for the rest of my life. And it's something I tell anybody. It's like it is the only thing that I have found, and I guess this is one piece, is the only sport. Maybe this is because I always played team sports, Joe, growing up, but it's truly an individual sport, right? And I'm actually more of a fan of no gi than I am gi, for two reasons, right? It's more active. I'm a more active person in nature, right? But it's truly the only sport, outside of wrestling, which I never did, right? Where it's you, right? It's only you. There's nothing else. You win, you win, you lose, you get better, you get worse, right? And for me, the gi, it's not that it's bad. It's that, like, okay, well, you kind of have a teammate, The gi itself is kind of a teammate as a tool, And so I've always just gravitated more towards no gi because of that, And I think there's a deep trend in that as a you may have seen it in Georgia. I don't know. Like, are you more of a gi or no gi guy?
Yeah, so me,
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, and I guess, yeah, Joe. I guess the point with that. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I think it all depends, Joe. I think it. Yeah, Joe. I think it all depends, right? I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a sport, right? It's not a combat. It's not a combat situation unless you plan to be in combat, like in your. Yeah, unless you plan to go. Right. I mean, are you doing this for sport? Are you doing this for hobby? Are you doing this for fun? I mean, as long as you have that context in mind, it doesn't matter. I think truly that, a perfect example of this is the last school that I went to before I came to Brazil is exclusively no gi. And I think there's a massive value in just training no gi only because guess what? Those guys, they will get those guys, some of the purple belts, white belts, what purple belts will get destroyed by good white belts and blue belts in gi. Why? Because they don't practice it, right? But on the contrary, those purple belts and blue belts will tap a black belt that doesn't, you know what I mean? So they may be a black belt in the gi, but they're going to get destroyed by a blue belt or a purple belt that trains no gi. Depends on the sport. They're two totally different sports, right? And and again, I came up in the old adage of you need to do both because one helps the other. In my experience, it doesn't. Just to be frank, right? And the most applicable description of that is that, okay, escape a bow and arrow, or use the same technique to escape a choke in gi as you do in no gi. They're opposite directions, right? And so there is nothing you will learn in the gi that will help you escape the vast majority of, and I look like 70, I think at a competitive level, I think it's like 70 or 80% of people finish with rear naked chokes, right? And so if the vast right, if the vast majority of people are getting submitted by something that is trained completely opposite in one sport than it is in the other, there's no value in it, So, yeah, right. No, and the value and that's the Right, and see the beauty of it, and look, I love Ron Gordon, and I love everything that Danaher and everybody's teaching and all that stuff, because I think that school of thought, that teaching methodology, is by far and away, for me at least. You always have to give it to context for me, right? Because, and I'll explain that here, is that in Brazil they still teach the old way, meaning, and it's not even that way. It's you walk into class and you roll, right? Or you walk into class, maybe you do. First of all, there's warm ups, which I am a huge proponent against. Like how are jumping jacks and running in a circle going to help you for jiu-jitsu? They don't. They waste time, right? And for me, positional training has always been completely changed my game, right? And I learned that at brown belt, right? And you're learning it at blue, right? And so that's something that is going to shift the game for sure. The good and the bad. The good is that is now coming to light. The bad is that Gordon Ryan's so good, right, that you like to think that at some point martial arts comes back into form, right? Meaning everybody's got the reason that Marcelo Garcia was such a big thing when he was famous and popular, and still is obviously, but to a lesser degree, is that he had his own game, right? He had his own system and he had his own thing. And right now everybody's trying to do the same system, right? Or they're trying to copy one system. It's like, well, that's the beauty of it, right? I used to train with Rafael Formiga Barboza, who was the butterfly king of the world, right? Butterfly. Nobody does butterfly, It, wow. Yep. 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 Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's it's all going to come in waves, right? Well, he's a marketer. He's a great business guy, right? And so, yep. Yep. Yeah. Well, it's like Mikey, right? It's just like Musumeci, right? It's like Mikey, right? Small guy, and so and that's kind of the dynamic that entices me about jujitsu and always will, right? And I tell everybody, I don't care what age you're at, I don't care what athleticism you're at, I don't care whatever, right? The reason isn't because I want to crush you or I want to train against you. It's that, and it's as with life, as with anything in life, right? And you've gone through this because you've been in jiu-jitsu long enough. You go through waves where you crush everybody. You don't even know how you're crushing people. You're like, oh my god, I'm flowing good, I'm feeling good. Just like in life, I'm doing good, I'm running good, and then 5 minutes later, you get a call, you get that phone call, right? Your mother's in the hospital, your father, whatever, your kid's sick or whatever, right? And so there's no sport that I've ever met that parallels life so closely, right? And second of all, there's never been a better way to expand your own horizons than by learning from other people, right? I got and this just happened to me maybe 2 or 3 months ago. In Brazil, big guy, maybe 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", I don't even know, 260 pounds, white belt, 15-year-old kid, completely 180s me, completely inverts me. So my head and my feet are inverted in the air, just launched me. And here I am, a guy, and so this is a guy that's out of shape, quote unquote, by society standards, right? Doesn't have any real like, okay, he's young, he's just getting started, he's a white belt, he's aggressive, perfect to kind of temper a kid's expectation. But I love it because now I can learn from something that I would never be able to, like, how did he do that to me? Right? And so that's what entices. I want everybody to come in because everybody's unique ability is what makes a sport like this. Because and again, systems work, right? Systems work, and there is a good and a bad way. But there's also that quirky art way that exists too, that will always keep this sport interesting, as opposed to like your traditional footballs, where like, all right, the game is passing, right? You don't get creative with like new moves. Like maybe you do. Maybe I'm not really, I'm sure every sport is like that, but I just think this one is so applicable to the general public. Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. Sure. Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, and here's the beauty of that. Here's the beauty of that, Joe. Well, here's what I'll say, and this is something that you're going to see over the next 3 to 5 years if you keep doing it, which of course you're going to. But I'm sorry, I just had some food. But you've already started to see it, right? And you just did it with Gordon, right? You just did it with not New Wave, Jesus, holy cow! what's Dana heard, the DDS, right? You just saw it. Right, you just saw it happen because now everybody transitioned to leg locks, and guess what? They're all getting beat with. They're all getting beat. They're all getting beat with chokes and passing the guard. Right? You don't, and that's just gonna that is the world, right, as a whole. Right? They find something, they look, all of a sudden it's gaining traction, so they try to latch on. Right? It's like the idea behind like Facebook and advertising and like gurus. Right? When you see it, it's already too late, right? When you see it, it's already too late. Now, the benefit is that some people stick on long enough where, like, okay, maybe you come in at the right time, meaning all of a sudden there's going to be a big transition to new types of chokes, right? Quote unquote, new chokes. And then people are going to start doing the new chokes and they're going to forget about defending their legs, right? And now leg locks are going to come back. And there will never be a point in time where, like, everybody's doing something similar. That's what makes it great. That's what makes life great. Well, but so this is what I'll. Well, here's the thing. Not only so I'm gonna fight you a little bit on that one. So here's a couple of things. One, you can learn just as much from a defending perspective as you can from a right. And so if you understand how that other individual is going to take you down or try to take you down, it allows you a bigger perspective on, okay, am I pulling guard to my right hip, am I pulling it to the left hip, what am I going to do as they take this step, right? So there is value in stuff like that. What I would also say is you 100% need to be okay with things changing, and the reason I say this is from massive experience. I spent the first 10 years of probably 9 or 10 years of my training with zero, and I mean zero. I got to brown belt before I even really knew how to do a straight ankle lock, right? I had a general conception of how it worked, right? And again, I started 15 years ago, right? So they didn't train it, right? They didn't train it at all. If I could tell you that in less than 3 months, the way in which I viewed the leg, not just attacked the leg, not just positionally on the leg, but the way I viewed the leg as a completely separate entity, and I was a brown belt at this time, right? Like holding my own against other brown belts. Like even when I got attacked in the legs, I was just to defend, hold off, because nobody else knew how to do it, right? And so just the position of my hand on the ankle, right? Just the position of what am I actually attacking? I'm actually attacking the navicular. I'm not attacking the Achilles, right? Everybody used to think a straight ankle lock was for the Achilles. It's like, no, it's not. You're blowing the bone out of the foot, right? And so all these different things I would have never learned if I didn't go to other gyms. And so there is no instructor in the world, maybe Danaher, I don't know, at least from my experience, that is 100% proficient in everything, period, right? And so this concept, I'm glad the concept's going away of like you have to stay with this gym. No, you don't. You should go and steal from everybody else, right? You should go, if you have the ability to, train with Formiga in Texas because he is the best at butterfly. Great. Improve your butterfly game, right? You should go and train with Danaher in Texas because he is the best leg lock system in the world, period, right? You should go to Bernardo's up in Boston, right? Just, he was in Boston. Is he not there anymore? I mean, he's got places all over, BG. Yeah, I mean, because he was right up the street from where I used to train. I used to train right next door. I didn't know him at the time, but love it. Right. You should. I mean, again, you should train with him just to be able to say it's a huge honor. Right. Right. And so, beauty. Heck yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And if you can find some guys, like again, my network is relatively like I knew Roberto Maya, right? Who's well, again, I don't, and so yeah. I mean, look, I don't bringing it full circle. Bringing it full circle, I don't know what my story entails, right? And so my journey with jujitsu, like when I first reached out, I had this, and you haven't been like I'm recording a YouTube video right now, but you're off of speakerphone, so don't worry. But like I want to record a video of me every day, right? And so I'm recording myself every single day. And last year I did a video every single day on YouTube, every day for the day, just for my kids, right? And so like there is something to be said about personal brand. So like, what do I get out of this? I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just being like, hey, this is my life, and I'm recording and documenting my life, right? And so if I get to do that, Rogan has said this before, like, hey, imagine somebody's recording you, right? Live your life as if somebody's recording you, right? And you are the hero of your own story, right? Most humans' lives are boring, right? Like the day to day, we don't do a whole hell of a lot. But it could be interesting for somebody. It could be interesting for my wife or my kids or my great 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 grandkids. I have no idea. So I'm recording it and I'm documenting it. And what better way to do it than to talk to guys like you, Joe, and be like, hey, tell me about your stuff. Tell me about your story. Tell me about you, right? And we just happen to have the one of the biggest things in my life and a big thing in your life as a common thread that we both like, right? Like I just in 2 seconds I was looking at your Instagram. Like you're in the army, right? You were in the army. Like awesome. I know nothing about that, right? Like I know nothing about what it is that you do with ADP, right? Or not anymore, but you know. So like even that stuff you'll find that there's so many opportunities in people. I mean, you're older than I am. I'm 36. You're 42, you said? 45. Yeah. So you got a decade's worth of experience on me. I'm sure I could share stuff with you. I'm sure you could share stuff with me. And my whole life has just told me just meet as many people as you can. Like I I always wanted to do a go ahead. Yeah. 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 Well, and just in full transparency, Joe, right? Full transparency, brand is going to be the biggest thing that you have. Period. Because everything, especially with AI and technology, everything's going to be a dime a dozen, right? I offer SEO services for my clients, right? And I'm very much realizing that it probably won't last for a long time because you can outsource it for a few $100s, right? And right now, if you were to type into Google what's the average cost of SEO, it's 3 to 5 grand. So like, it's a matter of time before word gets out about that, right? It's like, so and yep. Yeah, because you got to go, and I'm happy to have these conversations anytime. So yep. I'm 100% confident of that. Look at I. Hundred percent. Yeah, I think it's your show, so you tell me how you'd want to direct it. I'm gonna speak how I'm gonna speak. I don't. I used to be because I ran a few podcasts myself, and I tried to be this person, and I was a big Andy Frisella person, and so I did a podcast called 75 Harders, and I would like interview people that had finished 75 Hard, right? And then Andy did his own version of it, and I was like, it's just not me. Like I don't, I am who I am, and I'm gonna share what I'm gonna share, and you're either gonna like it or you're not, and like I mean, you don't fit everybody, and that's the whole point of jujitsu is that I've been kicked out of gyms before. Well, one gym, but not because it was a bad situation. It was COVID, right? And there was just some bad communication, and like I don't the world's not big enough to care that much. I'm not going to bad talk anybody. I'm not going to smash down anybody because they're running a business, they're running their life. But like the whole point of this is to grow yourself. And if you're not making mistakes, not that you want to, but like who knows, you know? Like that's the whole journey. The whole journey of jiu-jitsu is life, right? And I think there's a lot of things we could talk about. I would let you direct it, obviously, and you tell me how we want to direct it and whatever. But like, I've done enough podcasts myself. I've never been a guest on a podcast, so you tell me if there's something, and we edit it and do all that jazz. Like, cool, awesome. And we want to talk business. We want to talk jujitsu. We want. The best part about jujitsu is that it's a martial art, but it's a martial art for life as well. Like, so. Yeah.
And then what I'll do is I'll go in and craft up talking points, a little bit of perspective questions. You let me know. Yeah, Joe, I think this would be a good conversation goer or starter, and I can talk around this. Or if you dig something, be like, yeah, I don't know if I have any real strong insights or content here. You let me know, and then if there's anything you want to add, we just kind of kick back and forth. And then what we'll do is we'll set time to record. I will say early next month.
That's fine.
Have another episode of something figured out. So let's go ahead and
Yeah, that works out perfect.
get all the content going. Where do you train in Brazil?
So it's a town. So yeah, so it's called Cassidy's Jiu Jitsu, and so how they have it in there's like you could spit and find a jiu-jitsu gym, right? But this is like the home primary gym. It's a very small town. Like I'll send you a screenshot of where I am, but I'm literally right in the middle of the continent, right? South America. So it's in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows anything. Like nobody knows that it exists. Everybody that you hear about it will be like, "That's the hottest place in the world." It's farmland country, you know. Um, and truly, Joe, my intention with all of this was just to meet people and look if something comes out of it, right? I need to start competing, right? And it was just like, how do I push myself to do as much as I possibly can, to be as uncomfortable as I possibly can, just so I know what my limits are, you know? And so, we're literally riding a bicycle to jujitsu. Like, there's like 30,000 people in town, like it's not crazy down here. But, even if I can be a liaison for you to like find people down here to talk to, So, however I can help you, Joe, is yeah. What do you and director of physician recruitment? ENT. Interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's going to crush the entire state, right? Yep. Yeah. Do you have? I was just gonna say, because I'm in it right now, and I want to be respectful of your time. Have you ever used Seamless.ai? So let's if you've got time later tonight or tomorrow, I've got 1,000 contacts a day that I can pull that are using AI. I'm happy to pull. I'm working on a second arm of my business for podiatrists and for dentists. And maybe it's ENT related, maybe not. It's a very simple service. It's missed call, text back. So you call a doctor's office, they don't pick up. I've built the AI tool, I've built the automation to just take care of it for them, right? Um, Sends them a text, books them an appointment, asks for insurance information, whatever, right? And so that's one thing for sure. This is why I love these calls, Joe. And so, but if I can, but even if I can give you a list, right? And so I can get you 10,000 over the next week and a half. I get you 7 to 10,000 contacts just for you to call, right? Whatever. I'm happy to pull that list for you. You just need to give me the criteria. Like we'll go up on a Zoom call and just walk you through it. You just yeah, like I said, it's a lead puller, right? It's a very lead puller, but Seamless AI is an expensive software, and so a buddy of mine gave it to him because it's not what he wanted, and he paid for the year, so he gave it to me, and so I've used it for pretty much all the dentists in the U.S. So if I can, I've tapped it out basically. So now I'll give it to you and have you get your list out of it. So, but I'll shoot you a text. Is this the best number, the 706 number? Shoot. I'll shoot you a text and we'll keep talking. Thanks, man. Have a great day. See ya. Pam, 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 pam. So that's a podcast guy in February. Look at that. We're moving. Patriot Cars, Cape Cod. I gotta call Pam back. 774-408. Call these guys. They're good people. Hey Pam, it's 12:30, right? It's been one. Oh gosh. No, Pam, don't worry about it. Look, like I said, this is a long-term relationship I want to build with you guys, right? And so if it takes me a couple of weeks to figure out what works best for you, I don't whatever. Like a couple of weeks versus a couple of years, I'm good with a couple of weeks, you know? So, but if it can but the sooner we can get this going for you, the sooner you can get more business and the sooner we can actually, start to see results, Oh, sweet. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna pull up the email too. Where are you here? Pam. P-A-M. Huh, you're fine. Oh, it's called Go High Level. Yep, HIGH level. Oh, and I can actually now that I'm rereading that, I'm going to change my numbers on this because I found a service that does it for just as well for less, so I now charge less because of it. So yep, that's fine. Yep, that's fine. great, great.
A little bit more. We did keep restoration. We're talking big money,
Yeah,
not just little.
wonderful.
It's not, well, yeah, wonderful, but like, it's real tough.
Yeah.
We're kind of scrapping. So,
So what? So the point of that was to say, look, whatever version of outreach you prefer, I can build into the website. So typically that looks like some sort of a call button or a call form or something, and a form that they can fill out their information for you to you get an email or you get a notification that says, hey, this person's interested, call them, right? That's it doesn't have to be book an appointment, right? That's some of my clients are plumbers and they want to just have the client be like, hey, here's my problem, come see me, right?
right, we want to talk to them. We don't want a
And that's fine.
94 Mercedes Benz anymore.
Yep. So I would
Yeah.
nope. What I would say is I'd build a form that would say, hey, please give me the year, make, and model of your remodel, right?
Which is what I've already done on there, yeah.
Yep. And just in a little bit more of a clean format, right? And so like, hey, give us the information, we'll reach out to you, right? Again, there's nothing when I first reached out to you, there's nothing wrong with your website. It's more just a little out of date and a little sporadic, right? It's
Well, that's because I just started building it.
right.
Literally within the last month.
Yep, exactly. And so that's totally up to you. If you want to continue to build it, okay, cool. What am I going to do? Charge you to build your own stuff? No. um,
Right, and we've already paid for this host for the year. Currently, it's already paid for. You know what I'm saying?
how much was the hosting? Hosting should have been like $10.
Well, we paid for the website builder.
That's okay. I mean, the website builder, GoDaddy has their. You paid for the domain, right? Which is the Patriot Classics, right?
And we paid for them, right. And it was, let's hurry up and do this because we needed something immediately.
Right.
And when I say immediately, I mean 100% immediately.
Yep.
And, I mean, because what was on there was just, it was, so out of date,
Yep.
all of that. So let me, slow, we gotta update that too.
That's all right.
So we've already paid for websites and marketing right now.
Yeah. Yep. And so what that was mostly, and that's just me knowing GoDaddy. And I'm looking at it right now. Get to know the premium plan, basic services. I'm looking at GoDaddy. So targeted social campaigns. I'd be surprised if they did anything there.
No, they do. They actually do.
Oh,
Go ahead.
no. Okay. What are they doing then? I guess.
Every time I like if I update and I want to post something socially, all I have to do is post it socially.
Okay.
And now I have some additional links that are not working, but that's because of another free service. Vimeo,
Yep. Vimeo.
understand, yeah, Vimeo, whatever. I didn't understand how it worked, so I'm gonna look for a special account.
Smart. Yep.
And I'm able to embed it that way. What I was kind of afraid though was that, I mean, there are videos, we uploaded them to the site and Vimeo just took them, which
Interesting.
really pissed me off, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So, that's another issue I'm having at this point with that part of it. Especially because I create live shows and all of that kind of thing with pictures.
Yep.
I needed a platform I could do that on because I could do it actually at my house because
Yep.
I have a Mac and I have a lot of the programs that I bought right out.
Yep.
I don't pay monthly for them.
Yep.
I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
I know at this point I don't know that you can do that anymore. So that's a whole nother aspect that I have not been able to get into as of yet. When I say literally, I mean we just
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't have access, and I don't use it. I use the software that I have, which is the 97 a month, right? That's what I use to do all my posting for my clients. That's what I use to do all my website management, basically everything, right? Um, and so really it's more so for you, Pam, do you want somebody to do it for you versus you doing it yourself? I don't know how much your time is worth. I don't know if it even makes sense for the business.
That's what I'm paid to be here for.
Right. And
You
that's
know,
okay. Yep, and that's okay. And so if that's the case, then okay, well, I'm not looking to steal your job. I'm looking to work with you and make your job easier, right?
exactly.
With the which advertising?
Google ads, like the
Yeah.
native advertising part, Google ads, we charge $9.99 a month. We charge, depending on doing the website, we $4.99 a month for the beyond that.
Yep,
So
that's fine.
the meta ads,
It's the same thing, Pam. I would say given the fact that I don't think advertising is the point here, right? I think
right,
I think I would take that knowing what we now know in the conversations that we've had. I don't think advertising is the play, right? It's
right,
it's not within the budget, right? I think first of all, and second of all, I think you would be fine with just some general traffic flow on some key terms, right? Like that's the if you could find some key terms within ESEO, and you may be able to do it within what you've already paid for in GoDaddy. I don't know, right? Um,
I have been able to do that as well. You know, classic cars, American restoration, Ford Broncos, early Ford Broncos, more specifically.
yep.
Um, I so appreciate you calling me and asking me to
No.
step over to some of this with me. I really do, and I'm jealous. You have such a brain cell.
Well, I will say this: I'm in Brazil, but you're the only person that I speak to in English on a general. Like, there's no English speakers here. There's no. I'm not on the beach. There's no beaches nearby. It's all farmlands. Yes, the weather is nice. The weather's nice, but it's not. It's just not snowing. It's still 94 degrees and humid. It's not California weather, although that's got its own problems. But you know what my point.
But you know, I was up Costa Rica for work,
Yep.
and I, as you said, honest about interrupting that. I appreciate that.
Yep.
I really and truly do. Um, and continuing to enlist here.
Yep.
Okay, why is it not doing this? Right. If my boss would know today, by the way.
No, go figure.
Bruins game won, so he's up in Boston, which has been great.
Nice.
I'm glad he got out of here for a little bit. 'Cause, there's no oversight, nobody here that can
Manage
see
it.
what's going on and deal with not being empty, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
It may be, but I cannot respond to the inquiries that we've currently had because Ed has been here and he's the one that made that determination.
Right.
I don't know, I've got 1,000, oh, that's on the social. I've got 328 site visitors in the last 30 days.
Okay.
Um, Social media, as far as that goes, I'm right where I want to be at least right
Yeah.
now. 1,640 in 30 days, not too shabby. Um, what I don't like about, let me switch here, about Facebook and that, and I tried to do this and it wouldn't let me do it, and I did it for my own company way back when, was I created like Kendall Paving. That's a person, I don't know if you've wrote about this before.
Yep.
where like I did it with my basement, Harwich and Kendall. Name of my business was the Harwich SIE.
Yep. Yep. No, I'll just tell you, it's not at all. And because Facebook's gonna throttle you. Facebook throttles you because they want business pages. They don't necessarily want they want interactors to go to the page and then having the page interact. Yep. 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 Right. Right.
I'm just trying to kind of weigh it out and figure out what the difference would be for what you're looking to charge for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, it really depends on, and this is just me being completely transparent with you, right? I got nothing to hide. It either works or it doesn't, right? And so for me, it's okay. Well, you are doing a lot of basically what I would look to do, right? And so since you're already doing that, and since you're being paid to do that, the question is what I'm charging less than what you're being paid, so that you can focus on other things in the business, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, 3 days a week and not a lot of other stuff to go with.
Right. And so if there's nothing,
Matter of fact, we get one built in here, interstate, whatever. So a few days that I'm not in here, which is typically Thursdays and Fridays, as I said, when I come on Monday, catching up on paperwork usually about 15 minutes.
right. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, then, and just this goes against my business, right? It's like, I don't know if we can help, right? No, look, I think that I could, and this is just me speaking out of my experience. I don't. You're doing a lot of this stuff on social media already. The question is the comparison between what my SEO services offer and what you're getting already with GoDaddy, is that worth it? And I can't answer that question for you for two reasons. One, we're not running it, so I can't compare. I don't know how well you're ranking for certain keywords, right? And two, do you know if you're getting leads from the website right now? Because if so, like, let's just answer that. Do you?
I've got, like I said, 4 answers in the last day that I wasn't here. I wasn't here yesterday, so I had a chance to get to them.
Okay, so then really, it sounds like you got it down. You just need to make a nice, cleaner website, and the website looks fine. Just clean it up a bit, right? and so And so one of the things that could be done, and this is where that $97 comes in, we don't do any SEO. We just keep the SEO service the way that it is on GoDaddy, right? And then just make sure that the page itself is clean, right? And if you want to make changes, you want to add pictures, you want to do whatever, I could do it right within the GoDaddy platform, right? It might take me a little bit to learn the intricacies of it because I already know this software, but don't do anything, right? Like, just use me as your expertise guy on the website side of things, right? And and then if you want to make changes, you want to add it, you want to edit it, I'll use their software, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to take from what's already working and ruin what you've already got. I'm not even thinking about the money of it, right? Because the money of it for me is less so than the results of it, right? Because like most people, and I say this all the time, if I could tell you that you spend $100 and you get one job out of it, right? Let's say you spend $1,000 for the year and you got one job off your website, it'd still be worth it, you know. That's not the goal. That's not the goal, of course. but you know. Yep. Yep. Yeah, and look, this is what I would say, right? And so the reason I understand that 100% is the first thing that we were talking about when we had our first conversation. And so if I go to patriotclassics.com, right? The biggest thing that I see missing on the website, and you have it there, but it's still too much, is because this contact us portion shouldn't even be a button. It should be a twofold where on the left hand side it says classic American auto restorations, blah blah blah, and on the right hand side it's an oh, okay. Yep. So on the left hand side it's everything that you're saying. We remove the button that says get a quote and we just put the form right there. Right? Why click a button? Because you already want that information. Patriotclassics.com. Uh, uh,
and then they send.
let me do this. Are you on your phone or are you on the computer?
I'm on the computer.
So I'm
'Cause,
looking.
I got it. Yep.
I'm literally looking at patriotclassics.com and it says classic American auto restoration and performance skilled experts. And then right underneath that,
We're on the home page. Oh, the get a quote thing?
the very first.
It takes you to request a code.
Yep.
Quote.
And my point with that, Pam, is that if I'm the guy or girl that has this car and I'm a little bit older, I don't even want to press the button. I just want to put my info in, right? And so just streamline it. Just remove that button that brings you down to the contact us page, request a quote, right? Yep. Correct. Yes. What what I'm saying is take this information on the contact us page, right? And put it on the homepage. So that when I land on your website, I immediately can put my name, phone number, info, car, send. The only reason I say that is because of what you just said, which is most of these people and guys that are coming to us, they're not tech savvy, right? So decrease the barrier to entry. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And so what you would do and what you would do to do that and to fix that problem, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to make sure that this is a very straightforward point. Your name, email, and message, right? You could also include a please select your model, and you could say Ford, Chevy, other, right? And then when they do click other, we could set it up to say we only work with these brands or whatever, right? So it doesn't even come through to you. Or maybe it comes through to you, but at least when you call that customer, you at least go into the conversation knowing that it's not what your bread and butter is. Right? And so, and again, what I would say too is that button that says get a quote, you can still just change it to see more work or scroll below or whatever. The point is that you want to eliminate friction for your customers that already want your stuff because they've already clicked on your Google site that says Patriot Classics, right? Your home lettering says Classic American Auto Restorations and Performance Skilled Experts, right? A little mouthy, if I'm just being transparent, right? But mouthy, meaning like there's a lot of words and a lot of, I mean, again, you know the market better than I do. Is like, is that what guys say? Okay, great. Then if that's what they say, but my point my point is are those phrases that are used commonly by your customers? Okay, then that's what I'm saying is that okay, so yep. Yeah. And that's all. That's all, Pam, right? And so yeah. Yep. Right, and so this is, I guess, what I'm saying is that 97. I already paid for what's called Canva, right? Canva Pro, and it's a yep. And I have the pro version of it. I can edit the pictures for you. It's just a time saver, right? For $100 a month to just call me and say, Zach, I want to change this, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. If it's worth it to you, awesome. If it's not, whatever. It's a month to month thing. So if you use me for 1 or 2 months and you're like, I got what I need, thanks. See you later. you know. I would do all of your website management for $100 a month. Right. I would manage the website. Now, if you wanted me to use my SEO services, you wanted to run Facebook ads, you wanted to do all that, that's another conversation we could have at a different time. But as it stands, yeah, it doesn't seem like you're ever going to need me for that stuff, Pam. You know what I mean? Transparency doesn't seem like you're going to need that, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. But maybe I do such a good job on the website that you have 5 or 6 or 7 other friends that are in different trades and be like, call Zach, you know? and I appreciate that. No, Pam, I appreciate that. Look, I'd rather give you this service for free. My time's worth a little bit, so I gotta, and so that's why. Yeah, and that's why a lot of my services are based on my costs. And I just say, look, it costs me this much, and I've got 45 clients that I work with now. And of that, half of them have come back to me for other services, SEO, Facebook, whatever, right? And that's just because I do the right thing, which is like not screw people over. It sounds so bad to say that, but the industry has such a bad rap that like if you just do the basics and not be a jerk, you win. Right. Well, and you're in a very niche market. Like you guys should be killing it because nobody has one the experience, and two these are classic cars. It's like it's not like you can easily get pictures of these types of things, you know, unless you own it, or you work on them, and you have a great. I mean, I'd even go as far as being like hire a photographer to come in on like a random Tuesday. Yep. Nice. Very nice. Good. Great. 100%. And here's and you know what? Here's the other thing, and no disrespect to you at all. I would go find an influencer on Cape Cod that's a girl, because she is gonna post that picture to all of her people, and it's gonna expand out the reach. Does that make sense? And so it's not even that you necessarily want those customers, it's that you want the reach. So you say, hey, we're gonna give you this platform, we're gonna give you this very rare car, and you're gonna get to post it all over your social media for free, right? Just come here, meet us this day, hire a photographer, bang, 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 share it on your social media. Now, the young kids who have the dads that have these cars or whatever, right? They're gonna see that this young, influencer or whatever, not an OnlyFans girl, because those girls are weird. I don't even. It's funny. I laughed. I told my wife. I said, hey, if everything's ever get really bad, never in a million years. Oh God. Yeah. Look. I don't recommend that to anybody. I'm not a religious person. I just think it's bad for humanity. I just do. But and I guess that's the other thing, Pam, is that like you get somebody to talk to you about business that's not Ed, who's in his mechanic world. So that's another benefit for the $100 that you get. So that's what I would relay to you. If you're interested, great, let's move forward. If not, that's fine too. I'd still connect with you as soon as I get my first classic car, whenever the hell that's going to be. I don't know, but. Oh God, no. What, we're here. Did I tell you the story with her back and all that? So my goal is to be back. I just can't come back until she's healthy. At least that's my dad and husband instinct. That said, it's very hard to grow a business without being able to handshake. It's not hard. Like I said, I got 45 clients, but I like doing business that way. Like I'd like to stop by your shop and be like, hey, show me what you got, and let's talk about blah blah blah. I'm old school like that. I'm only 36, but so my intention is to be back by June when my birthday is. That just requires me and my wife to have a conversation to say, hey, are you staying here in Brazil with the kids and I'm coming back in a couple months, or are we going back as a family together? And so a lot of that is dependent on her health, which right now seems to be on a good trajectory. No clue though what the future holds. So the school semester is done in April down here. So I'm thinking April, we pack up in May, we come back in June. Like that's my intention. Yep. Just consider it website management, right? That's how I would explain it. Website management. I'm gonna do all your pictures for you. That includes the Canva and all that. Any pictures you have that are new or you want to change. It doesn't include anything with Google. It doesn't include anything with Facebook. It's just I have access to your GoDaddy. Like you'll give me your username and password or whatever, and I would go in. I'd make the changes. And if you wanted to, you change the password at that point. What am I gonna have to? I have no control over your stuff because I know that was a big point of contention for you guys too. Like you had it all stolen. So yeah, and I don't ever want that to be a question of anything. Like you give me, I can set up a username with you or whatever you want to feel comfortable. But again, most of my business is in Massachusetts on the Cape. So the last thing I need to do is burn my reputation by stealing a $100 per month website from somebody. Like, there are some people that would do that. I can't see the upside to that. I just can't. Yeah. It is. I grew up. Yep, exactly. Well, I don't know. They passed that new ADU law, so he may be in one of the millions of ADUs that are coming up. I don't know. No, I don't know. But that's my point, right? My point is that it's good business does good business together. That's And the other thing is, I'm not a beggar either. Either you like it or you don't. So,
I don't know. I got something from Google this morning that was saying that I was just on the phone on Google, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. There's nothing we did.
nothing. You probably somebody got your information and
No, I went to post something and it actually it kind of threw me for a loop. Your post has been removed from Google.
what did you post on Google?
Violates Google's content policy. Google has turned off posting for the business profile to prevent edits that violate. It was, yeah, it was a video of the 39 rolling out.
Oh.
That's it.
And you put it into your you put it into your Google business profile?
I just went to make a post. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what happened. And it's our video.
Yep.
It's a car. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and so a lot of times Google does this to a lot of my clients too. Like they want to upload pictures and they're like, this isn't a real picture, and it's like you just have to wait 48 hours and repost it. and so for whatever reason, the guy that's on shift that's verifying pictures for that day pressed the wrong button or clicked no or whatever, right? And it's just an annoyance sometimes. Like you got to call Google to be like, hey, I'm the real person here. Like, oh, okay, we'll verify it.
Started going, what what did he violate? You know?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure that out
Well, the other thing is, did you upload it from your phone? Did you upload it from the computer?
from the computer.
Yep. Now, did you take the picture on your phone though?
It was I sent it to the computer, downloaded it onto the computer, and then uploaded it to Google.
Yeah. And so sometimes, and this is a silly thing that I've seen happen before, because it's not an original file, meaning the original file lives on the phone, Google thinks that you stole it from somebody, even though you stole it from yourself, because technically you did, right? You sent it to yourself. So Google will mark that as potentially dangerous. And if you uploaded it from your phone, you probably wouldn't have had a problem. But because you uploaded it from your computer, right? And yep. No, right, exactly. Yep. Right. And then sometimes as well, if you, because you guys are in Harwich, do you live in Harwich? Okay, so sometimes I've seen, well, if you lived in Barnstable, for example, right? They might say, oh, well, this business is in Harwich. Why are they uploading it from Barnstable, right? No, I know. I'm just, Pam, I'm just giving you different potential options, right? Like why they might have. So there are so many variables, and unless you work for Google, which I don't, you don't, there's no way to guarantee for sure what the heck is actually going on. And so it just becomes a headache, you know? But you're not alone. It's not like it's not like you're the only company that has to deal with these headaches. I deal with them literally every single day. So. Lock and load. That's all right. Why don't we? I mean, what do you? Let me do this, and I rarely do this because this is the anti-sales thing, right? What would you recommend as kind of a next step for you guys? I mean, is that some ed conversation? Is this like cool? Right. Right. Well, even if you could respond to them and say, "Hey," like give them the fact that you received it, you know? Because the one thing I'll say there, Pam, for sure is if that is a hot lead and they don't hear back from you within the first hour, they're gonna call the next guy. They're just going to. So even if you have to come up with some sort of excuse to say, hey, Ed's under the engine right now, like as soon as he gets out, I'll get back to you. At least it prevents them from calling the next guy. It means that they know that you're actually interested, even if you're not. Even if you have to go back and tell them, hey, actually, it's not something we do. It's better to say no than it is to say yes. You get it, so. Sure. No harm, no foul. I'm not, no gun to your head. I'm not gonna be mad if you say no. Thanks, Pam. So I will. What do you think next? Do you think next week or Wednesday? Sweet. 20th. Nope. Lock and load. I'll call you next week. Thanks, Pam. Bye. Oy, oy. Anywho. Anybody been joining me here? Sorry if I haven't said hi to anybody. One view. No, thank you. Nobody's watching. Nobody's watching. All right, let's see. So that takes care of that. That's probably going to be a no-go. I've got all these leads, man. I got to call these leads. Humdy hum. Let's see here. That's expenses. That's list. That's the IG export. This is responded. All right, so these are people that I have to call. Let's do this. Add to contacts. Billy. Interior. Demo Boston. Create. Okay. So I've got Joey possible 857 6361533. Joey 500 question. Okay. Let's go here. All right, people. Well, I hope you had a great day today. I'll connect back with you guys later when I get a